Hello, how have you been? Now, I'm doing this very special recording. Today is the 6th of September 2020 at 10:30 p.m. Okay, so this is a very special late night recording just for you. Okay, now I have a very special I have a very special message that I wish to share with you. Okay, I actually wrote a note a few days ago, but I think many of you might have missed it. So I thought it'd be good that I do a video about this. Yeah. So first of all, I want you to know how grateful, how touched I am for all the hard work that you've been putting in for this module. I know it's not easy for many of you. We're arts people. Don't forget, I'm also an arts person, right? We're arts people. Learning technical things can be quite a struggle. I used to struggle trying to learn all these things on my own as well. Yeah? So it's a struggle, it's a pain. I hear your fears and anxieties, your struggles, your concerns, your worries. I hear them and I totally can relate with that. Okay, I totally understand. That's one thing I want you to know. One more thing I want you to know is this, just because you struggle doesn't mean that you're bad at it or that you're a bad student, okay? I wish someone told me this when I was an undergraduate student, because I went through 4 years as a student struggling, and not just struggling, I felt so demoralized, so demotivated that after I graduated, what happened? I told myself, I'm not cut out for this, right? I can't do this, I can't do that. And so I just resigned myself to the fact that, yeah, I'm not good at these things, alright? But as life would have it, I got poached to work for another university, and yeah, and well, it's a blessing in disguise, I guess, because I got to meet experts, the people with the big brains, right, the PhDs, the big profs, the famous people, and you know what I learned from them? They also struggle. Just because they got PhD, just because they got tenure, just because they're full professors, they're famous internationally, they still struggle. And that was for me a huge enlightenment moment. Okay, that struggle is always there. What's the main point of it? Is that we all struggle. Why do we struggle? We struggle because we are pushing the limits of who and what we are. Okay, so through that process of struggle, it's painful, right? Growing pain. But through that process of struggle, we become better. We get good at those things. That's why the experts, the big brains and all that, they struggle all their life, and that's how they get good. Okay. Now, I wish somebody told me that when I was an undergraduate student, because then I wouldn't be so demoralized. Yeah. So I want you to know, struggle is normal. It means that you are growing. Yeah. So be patient. Be kind to yourself, yeah? And I want you to know that no matter how bad you might feel because of the struggle, I know some of you feel, I'm really, really bad at this. Don't worry, I understand, okay? I totally understand. But I want you to know that in spite of all that struggles and everything, as your teacher, I can tell you objectively, your cohort, okay, majority of you have done so much better than the last semester's cohort. And I don't give out this kind of praises very lightly, okay? Last semester's cohort actually did pretty good. You did very, very well, and your awesomeness can actually be seen. You know, now it's online learning, but even from a distance, I can see your awesomeness as early as week 3 already. Wow, isn't that amazing? Yeah. So what have you been excelling in? Yeah. Tutorials, yeah, I've been observing a lot of tutorial classes. My TAs also have been observing, and we've seen the level of competency that you all have. Wow, never in the semesters before had we had students, so many of you, that they can do VLOOKUP and pivot table, and so well, and not just so well, your pre-tutorial one, oh my gosh, so many of you wrote so well as well. We never had this quality of work before. Okay, so this is the first semester where, of all the semesters that we teach GET 1050, yours is the first semester that we have such high quality work in pre-tutorial 1 and in tutorial 1. In fact, now tutorial 2, I've been reading tutorial 2s. My colleagues have also been reading it. Wow! You guys are amazing. Yeah? So I want you to know, well done. Great job. Okay? So regardless of how you feel, I want you to know that objectively, if I have to benchmark you against the previous cohorts, objectively, you all as a whole are doing fantastically well. And I want you to know, as your teacher, I am very, very proud of every single one of you. All that hard work that you put in has really, really paid off. Okay? So please be kind to yourself, persevere in your learning. Now, as my way of thanking you for all the incredible hard work, I've also been working hard because I see you work hard. I'm motivated to work harder just so that you can learn well. So what does this mean? This means that over the past couple of days, I burned my whole weekend just to revamp the lecture videos to help make your learning more enjoyable. Actually I didn't have to do it, but I did it because I'm very, very touched by all the amazing hard work that you've put in. So this is just my way of saying thank you, okay? Because I mean, it's all online lah. So this is the least I can do to thank you for all the incredible hard work, right? So please enjoy the lecture videos, have fun learning, okay? And if you are still struggling, you're still unsure, whatever it is, don't be afraid to come to me for help. Or come to your TAs. We have a big, huge teaching team this semester because of the online learning. So come to us. We are very, very happy to lend you a helping hand. Our greatest satisfaction is seeing you grow and flourish over the semester. And to see it happen so fast in week 3 and week 4. Wow, that is really, really incredible. Okay, so let's talk about pre-tutorial 1. This is, after all, the pre-tutorial 1 examiner's report, yeah? So let me say, first of all, I realized many students actually miss the point of the pre-tutorial. The whole point of the pre-tutorial is not about getting the right answer. We don't give you marks for getting the right answer. In fact, I don't care whether you have the right answer or not. Yeah? What's more important is whether you have the thinking, whether you're able to do the technical things and think critically about yourself, about your work. Yeah? Why is there a pre-tutorial in the first place? Well, because many students always say, oh, I learned this thing, but I don't understand the application. What's the point? Okay. So pre-tutorial is to help you see the application. You see, it's one thing to go through the lectures and you think you understand, right? Then you have the quizzes that will test whether you actually understand the lecture. But quizzes can only test your conceptual understanding, can only test your technical ability. But to really learn well is knowing how to apply to the real-world situations. That's what pre-tutorial is about. We give you simulated real-world problems. These are situations that my friends, my peers have experienced. And so I'm giving them to you, structuring them in a way where you can see how everything that you've learned comes in very handy. And once you have the experience, never mind if you got it right or wrong or whatever, we don't care. The point is, once you have the experience of knowing how to apply your learning from the lectures and quizzes to the pre-tutorial, the next time you encounter this in your internship or at work, having had thought about this before, you are able to handle the situation better, okay? So that is really the point. We want you to do the pre-tutorial to help you see the applicability, and also to prepare well for tutorials. That's all. So very, very supposed to be no stress. Just give it your best shot. As long as we see you try, you're very happy already, okay? Now, one more point I want to make is this, these are simulations of real-world problems. It's actually written in the assignment PDF, right? You cannot win 100%. Real-world problems, there's no right answer, no perfect answer, okay? So then the task is, how do we make best of a non-ideal situation? Okay, given all these constraints and limits and all that, how do I make best of it? This is a skill I want to train in you, because I know we've been going through many years of Singaporean education, always about getting the right answer, Once you graduate, no such situation where you just go and get the right answer anymore. There is always imperfect, non-ideal situations. So how do we make the best of it? This is where training in the arts and social sciences is supposed to prepare you well for all this, and that's what I'm trying to do as your teacher. Okay, so now I want to give some general comments about pre-tutorial 1. Okay? Most students will get feedback saying that your justifications need to be elaborated further. Okay? Remember lecture 3? We talked about premises, the stepping stones that lead you to a conclusion, correct? What this comment means, if you get this feedback, it means that you are missing some very important stepping stones, some very important premises, okay? Why are they missing in the first place? Because what's obvious to you is not obvious to the reader. So here's one important thing, not just for this module, but like all essay writing in general, okay? Is to never assume that the reader shares the same assumptions as you. Your task when you're writing an essay, when you're justifying, is to convince the reader. And that also means having to convince the reader of your assumptions as well. So you cannot just assume that the reader shares your assumptions. If I don't share your assumption, then what happens? Then you lose the battle, because nothing you say will have an effect on me. But if you can convince me of your assumptions, then we are getting somewhere, right? Now, for part 1 of the question, for pre-tutorial, we notice some students throwing out the phrase, no correlation, no correlation here, no correlation there, thereby flawed or unfair. Now, a typical argument that we've seen goes like this: intern X has very good sales but bad customer service. Therefore, like money or one of the other directors, more people and all that, approach is flawed and unfair to the other intern Y, who may not have the best sales figures but has a decent customer rating. Okay, best sales figures, decent customer rating. What's the implicit assumption? That customer rating matters as well, right? Now here's the thing, that's not enough. You're claiming that it is flawed or unfair. So Notice flawed and unfair, you need a positive justification. Claiming no correlation, there is a negative justification. Yeah. So flawed and unfair, you still need to say why it is flawed and unfair. Now, just because there's no correlation doesn't mean anything. It can be interpreted in any direction. Yeah? And for that matter, if you say that customer service matters, okay, or if you say that sales figures are important, you must explain, justify why it is important. Just because it's obvious to you doesn't mean it's obvious to the reader. Let's say, for example, suppose you think sales figures is important, but Big Boss Charlie thinks that team rating is important. Then how? You need to first of all convince Big Boss Charlie to give up team rating in order to take sales figures. You need to convince Charlie that at least sales figures, there is some merit to that. If you don't even do this, you just say sales figures is very obvious. What's going to happen? Charlie will look at you like you're an alien, right? What are you saying, right? So we need to make it explicit. Make your assumptions explicit and convince. That is the job of justification. Okay? Now, as for part 2 of the question requirement, one common word that keeps coming up is this word, holistic criteria. What do you mean by holistic? And for that matter, why is holistic best and fairest? Or why is holistic better than simple? Yeah? I could potentially make a case for why simple is better, wouldn't it? Yeah? So these are things that the students have been writing in the pre-tutorials, but it's been left untouched, unelaborated. So if you have any other queries about pre-tutorial 1, please contact my assistant module coordinator, Mr. Isaac Tan, at phibit, phibit at nus.edu.sg. Alright? So that's really all that I have to say. Overall, you have done fantastically well for pre-tutorial 1, so we're very happy to give you the marks. So well done, and like I said, thank you so much for the incredible hard work. I'm very touched. My team, my TAs, and I were all very touched. I'm so grateful for the incredible effort that you put in. So that's all. Once again, I can say I'm very proud of you. Well done. Okay, so see you. Enjoy the lectures. Bye.